Well, you want to get rid of me? Why, because I'm old? You hate teachers? Is that what you're about?
No.
Okay, well, teachers like to play too. And not only am I going to play, I'm El Capitano. And what I say goes, so put your hands over your hearts. I pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the band.
to the band
Of Mr. Schneebly.
of Mr. Schneebly,
And will not fight him
and will not fight him
for creative control.
for creative control,
And will defer to him on all issues related to the musical direction of the band.
What he said.
Let's get rocking!
Hey guys, welcome to episode 8 of Remind Rewind. Wow, 8 episodes. Can you believe it? I can't. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you can't already tell, or if you didn't read the name of this episode, we will be talking about School of Rock. My name is Jordan Klein. I am your host tonight and always. And on this podcast, Remind Rewind, I will be rewatching my favorite movies, some old ones, some new ones. I will also be watching new movies or newer movies that I might have missed along the way. And I'll be talking about what I remember from seeing them. Maybe if I saw them in the theater. I'll be talking about collecting them, what movies I have, what movies I'd like. And I'll be talking about just random facts about the film and my opinions about it. I'm also talking about, like I said, physical media. That's what they're calling it nowadays, including movies, music. I collect and I resell. So we talk about that a little bit. And I occasionally have on a guest, and we talk about how they feel about movies. So, speaking of movies tonight, it only makes sense that I talk about this movie since school just started back, and I am currently a substitute teacher, and I will always be a washed-up rock star, I guess you could say, indie rock star. And we're talking about School of Rock, the hilarious comedy from 2003. But before we get into that, again, like I always say, if you guys have any requests or questions or comments, feel free to email me at remindrewindpod@gmail.com or follow me on the socials. Right now I have... I just started a Instagram for Remind Rewind. So it's Remind Rewind Podcast. I think on the last episode I was saying it's Remind Rewind Pod, but it's definitely Remind Rewind Podcast. We're on Instagram. And then I have my regular Instagram, and then I have a Facebook. But you can always hit me up on the email. The Instagram is fun. I follow a lot of VHS people, so you can find them through me, and a lot of like movie sort of stuff, stuff that's centered around movies. And one last thing, if you haven't already, please leave my podcast a review, a like, a 5-star, a follow, wherever you listen. I'm sure you know how to do that. I follow tons of podcasts. And, man, I feel like this week especially, I have just had if I haven't been watching a movie or had a TV show in the background, I have had a podcast on. Really digging Boutique Talk with Jake Boston, old Steelbook obsessed. Man, that guy's amazing. He's got a great stream. He really fills you in on the guests that he has on, the movie that they choose to talk about, and then he's always coming out with new release. He does like a new release tier kind of thing where he ranks them, and most of the time he has a copy of it and he shows it to you. He also is able to show the tier list, and his video / podcast like stream is just so well done. And I mean, he has a great voice as well, and you get to see all this stuff in the background. This is not a paid advertisement, but there are, if you guys like my podcast, there's a lot of other great movie podcasts and physical media collecting guys that are on YouTube, and I think they coined themselves BlueTube because they talk about Blu-rays and all that other stuff. They kind of just lump it all in, VHS, DVD, whatever. Okay, all right. Well, let's talk about the movie. School of Rock was released on October 3rd, 2003. This would have been the fall after my graduation from high school. So I was living in an apartment with my buddy Andrew. Shout out Andrew if you're listening. You a true homie. So I switched it up a little bit tonight. I'm doing a little bit different thing. TBH, I normally print my notes out on paper because, physical media and paper, doing it the real way. Tonight I'm running it off my phone because I pulled a couple of clips from the movie. So if you guys know about my setup that I talk about, I switched it up a little bit. So I still have it set up on my VCR/DVD combo, set up on like a little, it's probably like a 25-inch TV. And I think you guys saw I hooked my studio speakers up to it. Well, that TV is like old. It has like a dead bug in the screen, like real talk. It's not good. So I've been trying to convince my wife to let me get a CRT. And she was like, oh, hell no, you don't need more big, like old shit in here. You already have enough of that. So I was like, well, I'm getting a new TV. And she was like, no, I mean, we don't need to do that. I'm like, well, okay. So how about I get you a bigger new TV for the living room, and I take that one and put it in my room. So score, that worked. And now I have a 55-inch HD 4K or whatever you want to call it TV in my room on top of my record shelf. And on that right now I am currently watching School of Rock. So I don't have the volume to it yet. I haven't rigged a way to be able to do what I was doing before because, like I said, it's a different TV, and I also hooked up my Blu-ray player to it. So I don't know, probably about 6 months ago, or maybe like 4 months ago, I found a Samsung Blu-ray player at Goodwill for $8.99, I think, $7.99, $8.99. And it doesn't have a remote, and it didn't come with HDMI cables, but I have that. And it just so happens you can hook it up to your TV, and sometimes it's able to kind of sync, and they talk to each other. And so it just so happens that with this TV, it works with the remote that comes with the TV, which is great. But either way, I'm watching it from a Blu-ray, so I have a big, beautiful picture I'm looking at now. Not Blu-ray. I'm watching the DVD currently on a Blu-ray player hooked up to my new television. So maybe if I do an episode, another episode on VHS, or if I don't figure out how I'm gonna rig this, then I'm just gonna kind of pull clips and we'll just talk about it like that. So speaking of clips, I got one here. This is a little trailer to kind of refresh you. This trailer is a little bit longer, so I might cut it off towards the end. But it kind of just gives you a little, you know what a trailer is. So here you go. Y'all enjoy. Okay, see, yeah, we're figuring it out.
If he doesn't come up with the rent by the end of the week, he's out of here.
You wake me up for that? Come on!
Dewey Finn would have sold his soul for rock and roll, but nobody was buying.
You're an embarrassment. You're out.
Maybe it's time to give up those dreams.
Don't you miss rocking out? You're not a teacher, Ned. You're the cross-dressing incubus from maggot death.
Dewey, I'm not a satanic sex god anymore. I'm a sub, and soon I'll be a certified teacher.
Is this Mr. Schneebly? I'm the principal here at Horace Green Prep, and we need somebody to start immediately.
So how much are we talking here?
$6.50 a week.
Hello, this is Ned Schneebly.
Everyone, I'd like to introduce Miss Dunham's substitute. This is Mr. Schneebly.
All right, look, I've got a hangover. Who knows what that means?
Doesn't that mean you're drunk?
No. It means I was drunk yesterday.
Now, at the most prestigious prep school in the country,
Yes, Tinkerbell.
That poster charts everyone's performance.
where the students are rewarded for following the rules,
What kind of a sick school is this?
he's going to teach them a lesson
There will be no gold stars or demerits.
that will rock their world.
It's called Rock Band.
Is this a school project?
It will go on your permanent record. Hello, Harvard, yo. You, what's your name?
Zach.
You ever play electric guitar?
My dad won't let me.
Zach, do not walk away from me when I'm talking to you.
What makes you mad more than anything in the world?
No allowance. Chores. Bullies.
All you bullies get out of my way, cause I am really ticked off!
Mr. Schneebly, just wanted to say, that was a really cool lesson today.
Oh, thanks, dude.
All they wanted was an education.
They're gonna laugh at me.
You have an incredible singing voice. People are gonna dig you, I swear.
Okay.
What they got
Clear.
was a revolution.
I've just been informed that all of your children are missing.
And if you wanna be a teacher,
Jack Black, the School of Rock.
It will test your head and your mind and your brain.
Okay. So little factoid. The School of Rock is originally what it was called. I guess when they had this preview made, or also at the beginning of the film, you see that it says The School of Rock, but it was then changed to School of Rock. Just a little tidbit from the director that we will talk a little bit more about later. School of Rock, all right? It's written and directed by, it's written and starring Mike White, who is Ned Schneebly, the original, the OG, the substitute, soon-to-be teacher that Jack Black's character impersonates to go sub and be with these kids. So it's written and starring Mike White. It's directed by Texas's own Richard Linklater. If you guys don't know him, he's absolutely incredible director, and we will go into a little bit more details on him later. So it's starring Jack Black, Joan Cusack, who you heard a little bit of in the preview, Sarah Silverman, and a bunch of freaking amazing little kids that can act and play instruments. I mean, like, these kids are they're really playing it in the movie. And I love this movie to death. I love it when it came out. I've showed it to my kids. It's just it's an absolute hoot. Jack Black really tears it up. I mean, he is a whirlwind, little tornado, and so in case you forgot, Jack Black and Joan Cusack, they were in the movie High Fidelity together that we talked about on episode 2 with Renee Floyd. And speaking of Renee Floyd, if you haven't had a chance to check out Breakfast of Champions, the podcast I'm always talking about, well, I am the guest star on the episode that just dropped yesterday. And we had a really good time. We hung out. We talk Brenner. Brenner, that is breakfast at dinner time, in case you don't know what that is. And we also talk some Nick Cage and some Unspell Lore, which is the band that me and Renee and Parker were all in together. And we talk some violence, because that's what they talk about. And it was a really good time. it was cool. We were literally just cutting it up, having way too much fun, joking, and oh, you remember this, and oh shit, you remember that, and like, oh fuck, you remember when this chick ran out and was crying, and it's a hoot. I would definitely check it out, or any of the episodes that they have. My favorite is besides our episode, obviously, is they have one with this dude James Gray, and he's doing wonders out there in Weatherford. Check that one out for sure, and just check them out. Breakfast of Champions podcast, or Breakfast of Champions pod@gmail.com, I think is what it is. And they got an Instagram, and they got a telephone number you can text. Those guys are cool. They're doing it. So we talked about Jack Black and Joan Cusack. Joan Cusack is the principal of the school that Jack Black is substituting at. So, as well as trying to fake it, he kind of is trying to get in good with her, so to be on her good graces and whatnot. And then it's all these kids, all these freaking amazing kids that now are. We just, I think, since it came out in 2003, they just had. I know they did a 10-year reunion. Down in Austin, Texas. There's some footage you can find on YouTube of the band playing together, and that would have been in what would that have been in? 2013, something like that, right? Yeah, and they play this song, and all the kids are growing up and stuff. Also, the bass player, what is their name? Their name is Rivka, or they go by Rivka, and they have a podcast. It isn't new, but there are some episodes out there you can go and dig into and find if you're interested. All right, so these kids, you got Miranda Cosgrove as Summer, a.k.a. Tinkerbell. So all the kids, Jack Black gives them all a nickname, and these are all nicknames that he came up with. So there's Summer, Tinkerbell, the lead guitarist Zack Attack, on the drums Freddie Jones, Spazzy McGee, on bass Rivka or Posh Spice, and Lawrence the keyboard player Mr. Cool. And then you got all of these like nicknames are so hilarious. Posh Spice, Mr. Cool, Songbird, formerly Turkey Sub, Brace Face, Blondie, Fancy Pants. Just he came up with all those. Like not even like those weren't scripted. That was all him. Like just doing his freaking thing. Speaking of doing his freaking thing, let's listen to another clip that I pulled. This is going to be very early on when he is kind of figuring out the kids and trying to, feel them out, see what's going on. But a hilarious scene for sure. Check it out.
Who's got food in here? You're not gonna get in trouble. I'm hungry. You. What do you got? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay. Teach. All right, look. Here's the deal. I've got a hangover. Who knows what that means?
Doesn't that mean you're drunk?
No. It means I was drunk yesterday.
It means you're an alcoholic.
Wrong.
You wouldn't come to work hungover unless you're an alcoholic. Dude, you got a disease.
What's your name?
Freddie Jones.
Freddie Jones. Shut up.
Shut up.
The point is, y'all can just chill today. We'll start on this crapola tomorrow.
That's like me when I'm subbing.
Yes, Tinkerbell.
Just kidding.
Summer. As class
Tinkerbell.
totem.
First, I'd like to just say, welcome to Horse Green.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions about her schedule? Because usually now Miss Dunham teaches vocabulary, then gives us a pop quiz. Then she'll split us up into our reading groups. Track B is reading
Hey. Miss Dumbum ain't your teacher today? I am. And I got a headache and the runs. So I say, time for recess.
But Mr. S, that poster charts everyone's performance. We get gold stars when we master the material covered in class. How do we get gold stars if we just have recess?
What are these black dots here?
Demerits.
Gold
What kind of a
stars,
sick school is this?
like unlock some sort of like core memory inside me when I see that. So he rips up the chart of gold stars.
As long as I'm here, there will be no grades or gold stars or demerits. We're gonna have recess all the time.
Woo! But Miss Dunham only gives us recess for 15 minutes.
Hey, you're not hearing me, girl. I'm in charge now, okay? And I say recess. Go, play, and have fun now.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So that's their sub. That's their new teacher. And what happens is we'll just do a general kind of like, I've seen this movie enough that I didn't want to like, like write a summary or summarize, someone else's. I'm watching the part of the movie where he takes the bass cello. So summary is Jack Black's character fakes being a sub so that he can make some money, and then he sees that this class of these kids are so talented at playing music. So since he gets kicked out of his band right before this, he's got all the gear in the car. He sees them rehearsing in a music room, playing like some classical piece or something, runs out and grabs all the gear in his car and says, all right, here you go. You play the drums. You play the electric guitar. You play the bass. You be the keyboardist. And he's doing this because he wants to enter the band in a battle of the bands so that he can get a big check, I guess, so that he can show off and be a rock star on stage, but also like make a little money. And there are, there's things that happen in between the beginning and the end, but it's mostly just him kind of having this banter between him and the students, them playing music together, rehearsing, I guess you could say. And I won't give away how it ends in case you haven't seen it. I don't want to do a spoiler. Don't want to do that. So the kids don't just get on board right away. They're not immediately like maybe into it, or maybe they don't feel like they can do it. And this is a hilarious scene. I pulled another clip from of Lawrence, Mr. Cool, the keyboard player, who actually plays the keyboard in the movie and is like a classical trained like prodigy, basically. Like this dude just rips. He is absolutely incredible. So this is a really good scene between him and Jack Black, and like I've quoted this scene like for years, like outside of the movie, just like between me and my friends, because it's freaking hilarious. Have a listen.
Mr. Schneebly?
Yeah? Hey, what's up?
I don't think I should be in the band.
Why not?
I'm not cool enough. People in bands are cool. I'm not cool.
Dude, you are cool. The way you play. Why you say you're not cool?
Nobody ever talks to me.
Well, those days are over, buddy. Because you could be the ugliest sad sack on the planet, but if you're in a rockin' band, You're the cat's pajamas, man. You're the bee's knees.
Bee's knees?
Yeah, the bee's knees. You're gonna be the most popular guy in school, trust me.
Okay, I'll do it.
Now listen, this is a big commitment now. You don't just say yes if you're gonna flake out later.
I won't.
Larry, welcome to my world. Boom.
Little handshake.
Okay.
Secret handshake.
Boom. A couple of these. Now here.
Okay.
Now give me a platform. Let's rock. Let's rock today. Now do it to me.
Let's rock today.
That's good. Slap it. Shoot it. Kaboot it. We're gonna work on that some more later. It's a very long shake. Get going.
Man, the way that he pulls off this character is just something else, but you can't totally chalk it up to Jack Black doing his thing, because he really went wild on this movie. Just went totally crazy. And the thing is, though, he told the director, Richard Linklater, like, I'm gonna go like Crazy Train or something like that. So I've seen this movie a ton of times. I rewatched it recently with my kids, and then before the podcast, I rewatched it and listened to the commentary. That's another great thing about my new setup is, since I have a decent enough correct controller, remote, I can move over and watch the special features. So I watched it with the commentary, and it's with Richard Linklater and Jack Black on the commentary, and it was delightful. They really, you can tell that they got along, and they still do. And Jack Black obviously just brought his silliness, again on a whole nother level to it. But he talked a lot about the music and the kids especially. But the music, we'll talk about that real quick. The music is a lot of kind of older songs, 70s, kind of I guess you could call them classic rock songs. You got AC/DC, and it's incredible how many of these songs they were able to get in the movie, because they're all just fire, banger. And speaking of that, they actually had a little back and forth with Led Zeppelin, because they wanted to put the Immigrant Song in the movie, and they had a little back and forth, and I guess they had to work out a little deal or whatever. But listen to these songs. For those about to rock, We Salute You, AC/DC, The Clash, Touch Me by The Doors, is what he shows Lawrence how to play, his first kind of thing, where he's like, here, play this, and he kind of sings it to him. Kiss, Cream, Back in Black, The Who, Modern Lovers, Led Zeppelin, the Immigrant Song. So not only that, there's an amazing scene. Before we talk about that, the main song that they play at the end of the movie was written by Sammy James Jr. of the band Mooney Suzuki. So if you haven't heard Mooney Suzuki, they're an awesome garage rock band. If you're into garage rock, I would definitely check them out. They put on an amazing live show. I don't know if they still tour. They probably don't, but they are garage rock. They're new. They're like I said, they were touring maybe 15 years ago or something like that. They're not old garage rock, but I saw them play. My buddy Marcus saw them play a bunch of times. My buddy James saw them play a bunch of times. They put on a crazy show. The drummer stands on his chair, and they get the crowd so into it. It's super awesome. Garage Rock, the Mooney Suzuki, if you never checked them out. But so he wrote the song. So the guy from Mooney Suzuki penned the title track with the screenwriter Mike White, and the band backed up Jack Black and the child musicians on the soundtrack recording of the song. So that's and if you hear the song, and when you hear the song, which is it's called "It's a Long Way to the Top," in parentheses, if you want to rock and roll. Oh wait, no, sorry, that's the AC/DC song. School of Rock is the School of Rock song. Super awesome. That's so cool that they actually play it on the soundtrack, not only in the movie, but on the soundtrack. And then there's little songs that Jack Black sings. The Math is a Wonderful Thing. He came up with that. He freestyled that in the movie. I don't have a clip of that. Otherwise, I'd play it for you. The clip I do have of a song with it just shows you again how great the soundtrack is. I'll set the scene up a little bit. So Jack Black, who's trying to get on the good graces of the principal, says, let's go out and get a drink at a bar or whatever. And she's like, a bar? What? Are you crazy? So he takes her out to the bar, which is like, his vibe. So it's him doing his thing. And they're drinking some beers, and he's playing music on the jukebox. And just check this out.
You stay right there. I'm going to go put on some music.
Oh.
Just shows you the soundtrack, like the caliber of songs. Flipping through the jukebox. Oh, A4. You hear people playing pool. See him in the background.
I love this song.
Really?
Yes. Stevie Nicks.
Yeah. Stevie.
She came to town and she did a concert, and she was just so wild.
I know.
Oh
man.
my gosh.
She put on the best show I've ever seen. And she is so much better live than she is on the album. You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh my gosh, no comparison.
Yeah.
So,
you know what? Oh man, I would love to take the kids to a concert.
Concert?
Yeah, this is how he talks her into it.
There's one at the end of the month that would be perfect. The Philharmonic, they do the
field
classics.
trip,
They do Beethoven,
right?
Mozart, Enya, that kind of stuff.
Huh.
Oh, but you guys have a policy about field trips, huh?
Would it be educational?
Would it be educational? It could be very educational.
Maybe we can make an exception.
Yes! Sing the song, start to sing it. Ooh, baby, ooh, ooh. I'm holding you to that. Make an exception on what John Pashimo. Ooh, baby, ooh, say ooh.
Tomorrow.
Gosh, so that gives you so not only does that show you how awesome the soundtrack is, let you know that's how he's able to convince this principal to get these kids out of school for a little while, which today would be totally not acceptable. It would never happen. But all it takes is a couple of beers and a fucking Stevie Nicks song, and then they might be able to make an exception. But the soundtrack, totally unbelievable. I mean, that not only is it filled with just super awesome classic rock songs that the guy from the Mooney Suzuki helped write, the band's main song that they play, A couple others, in case you were wondering, in case you watched the movie and you didn't know what these songs are. There's a scene where, like I said, when they're in the classroom and he's teaching everybody to play at the beginning, he gives Jack Black gives Dewey Fisher, who is impersonating Ned Schneebly. He gives the guitar to Zach, and he shows him a couple of riffs. Like, he plays the riff, and then he wants Zach to echo the riff. So the first riff he plays is Iron Man, right? Dun 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 dun. Iron Man, Black Sabbath. That's Smoke on the Water. My bad. Iron Man. I don't remember that one off the top of my head. But yeah, what I just sung is Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple. And then Highway to Hell at the end, AC/DC. So a lot of AC/DC songs, they really lean heavy into that. But I mean, it references so many bands. There's a scene where he kind of like has the whole like connection and dichotomy and everything of like this band's connected to this band and this genre and everything. It's on the chalkboard, and the director said they worked on that for like weeks, like writing it all out and testing it and asking people on the crew, you know, what should be included and stuff. And they talk about like the Ramones, and it's really cool because one of the first things that he kind of shows them and talks to them about is the Ramones, because he gives them like, you know, rock history lesson, and then at the end of the movie, you see one of the kids wearing like a Ramones shirt or whatever, so it kind of shows you, you know, they learned from him. All right, let's see. Also on the soundtrack, T-Rex, David Bowie, The Stooges, Velvet Underground. Check it out, man. I mean, totally crazy. So, this movie at the time was the highest-grossing music-themed comedy of all time until the release of, can you guess it? Pitch Perfect 2. In 2015. So it went 12 years at being the highest grossing music themed comedy. So I'm guessing it beat out Airheads or whatever. But I mean, it's lasted the test of time, you know. It's still relevant. And the music is kind of like timeless, you know. It's classic, but it's timeless. It just fits perfectly with the way that everything looks and the way that everything feels. And even if you don't know these songs going into it, I mean, that's not good, but also good for you because you get to hear like amazing song after amazing song after amazing song. So not only was it the highest grossing music themed comedy for 12 years of all time, there was also a stage musical adaptation opened in Broadway in 2015, and a television adaptation that aired for 3 seasons on Nickelodeon from March 2016 to April 2018. I did not watch the Broadway or the TV show. I'm sure the TV show is good. I bet kids like it. Another little tidbit about the film, as far as like, I guess we'll call it awards because it's an award. The film was nominated for several awards, including Jack Black receiving a Golden Globe Award nomination for Best Actor / comedy or musical. So, can you guess who he lost to? Another actor that we've talked about on the podcast in another one of my favorite movies of all time. That would be Bill Murray for Lost in Translation. And if you haven't seen that movie, go see it. That will definitely be one that we talk about on the pod. I'll probably have to have Renee back on because he also adores that movie as much as I do. I've seen it so many times, and like most of the movies that I love, it has an amazing soundtrack, an absolutely amazing soundtrack with really cool stuff that spans in time and just it gives the movie just like such a cool feel. So let's see what other clips I have for you guys. Okay, so another reoccurring theme within the movie and the songs that they write and, you know, just what they're kind of doing is sticking it to the man. So early on, he gives them a little speech about sticking it to the man. And speaking of things that are still relevant today, you know, there you go. There's one right there. Stick it to the man. That is, I don't think that will ever get old for the artists and the rockers and stuff. So we'll play this one, and then I'll play you another where he kind of drops the reference of "Stick It to the Man" later.
What, you want to learn something?
Yes, I do.
What, you want me to teach you something? You want to learn something? All right, here's a useful lesson for you. Give up. Just quit. Because in this life, you can't win. Yeah, you can try. But in the end, you're just going to lose big time because the world is run by the man.
Who?
The man. Oh, you don't know the man? Oh, well, he's everywhere. In the White House, down the hall, Miss Mullins, she's the man. And the man ruined the ozone, and he's burning down the Amazon, and he kidnapped Shamu and put her in a chlorine tank, okay? And there used to be a way to stick it to the man. It was called rock and roll. But guess what? Oh, no. The man ruined that, too, with a little thing called MTV. So don't waste your time trying to make anything cool or pure or awesome, because the man's just going to call you a fat, washed-up loser and crush your soul. So do yourselves a favor and just give up.
Oh, that is not how I be subbing. But you know, who knows? There might be that day where you kind of just tick me off. So he mentions they talk about sticking it to the man a lot. In that little rant, he mentions you know, how the man ruined MTV, and after they had, like, I don't know if they had printed, but you know, they had cut. They're editing the movie. It's being seen by people. They found out that, like, their parent company like owns MTV and like subsidiaries or whatever. And they were like, should we cut it? And like they ended up leaving it because I guess they thought it was you know, him just being funny or whatever. But they were like, are we gonna get popped for that? There's another scene where he kind of just drops the "stick it to the man," and it's in the movie the talent show they want to be in. They try out and then they don't make it. So he kind of just drops in the "stick it to the man." That's just his MO.
Hi there. Hi. It's okay. It's cool. I just wanted to say I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have barged in here without telling you what was going down. It wasn't fair to you, and it wasn't fair to the kids, especially after everything they'd been through. And I feel like a jerk. God, I'm taking them back to the hospital. Just wanted to say I'm really sorry.
That's okay. That's fine.
See, I volunteer down at St. Margarita's in the children's wing.
St. Margarita's.
Teaching music.
Really, that's nice. That's very nice.
Actually, no, it isn't, because I totally screwed up. I told the kids if they practiced, they'd get into Battle of the Bands.
What'd you tell them that for?
I don't know. I wanted to give them something to look forward to, something to keep their spirits up. Look at them. They're terminal. Every last one of them.
Jeez.
Yeah, and all they wanted to do before they bit the dust was play Battle of the Bands.
What do they all have?
It's a, it's a rare blood disease. Stickatotomoniosis.
What's that? I never heard of it.
You're lucky. Because it's hell.
Wow.
All the kids are sitting by the van pretending to be like sick and like hunched over and like laying on the ground. And then they're in. They're on the bell.
You're dying, remember?
Freddy falls back down. Stick it to the man, you know. Never dies, I guess. It's always going to be a thing. So, like I mentioned before, another reason why this movie is so good, if it isn't already because of Jack Black or the amazing kids that do an absolutely perfect job playing their instruments and acting and just looking super cool. I remember thinking at the time in 2003 I would have been 20 or wait 19, and I thought the kids like looked so cool and was drawn in, you know, as you often are to a movie, and you're able to just kind of, you know, let it bring some sort of emotion to you, and you know, you're able to enjoy it. You know, laughter is I would say a big emotion that this brings you, but you know, it's not like a scary movie, it's not like a super sad movie, it's just a really fun movie, and the kids are fucking badass. Jack Black is badass, and the director Richard Linklater is also a complete and total badass. So I'm going to talk a little bit about his notable works as a director. In case you haven't heard of him, his films include the comedies Slacker, which it's more of like an indie experimental kind of thing, released in 1990. I have it on VHS. I also have Dazed and Confused on VHS. School of Rock, and then a couple of and then before that is the Before trilogy, which I haven't seen, but it's a little more indie artsy kind of thing, but in those movies he started doing a practice where he films a movie over a little bit longer of a period of time before he does so he does that, he does these films, he does the comedies, and then in 2001 he released a movie called Waking Life, which my band Unspell has a little clip from. It's the intro to our album, Believe in What You Want. You can hear a little clip from Waking Life. And then that was in 2001. And then 2006, Scanner Darkly, which is on my top 5 Keanu Reeves movies list. And then later went on to release Boyhood in 2014. Which was back to his the way he started making films, but we'll talk a little bit about if you haven't seen Waking Life and Scanner Darkly, it's they're a different kind of film. It's filmed, and then what's done is this animation technique. It's called rotoscoping. It's an animation technique that animators use when they trace over motion picture footage frame by frame to produce a realistic action. Originally, live action movie images were projected onto a glass panel and traced onto paper. This projection equipment is referred to as a rotoscope. Developed by a Polish animator Max Fleischer. The device was eventually replaced by computers, but the process is still called rotoscoping. So what Richard Linklater did is he employed this Sebastian guy and his company that have a proprietary rotoscope software that they use. And he used that to create a Waking Life and A Scanner Darkly. So what it does is, he used this the proprietary rotoscoping process for the look of both the movies. And he was the first director to use digital rotoscoping to create an entire feature movie. And The Waking Life and A Scanner Darkly, they both use this rotoscoping animation technique. It creates this effect that you're seeing the live action movie, which was filmed, but you're seeing it depicted as like a illustration. So it's the actors doing their thing, doing their movements. It's the backgrounds, but it's all completely been, I guess you could say, traced and then colorized or colored in a certain way that gives it this like, it's animation. It's not like, I don't want to say herky-jerky, but it's very like mesmerizing. It's very like trippy, I guess is the best word to describe it. So what it's done, like I said, Richard Linklater shot and edited both movies completely as live action features, and then employed a team of artists to trace over individual frames. The result gives it a semi-real quality, and Roger Ebert actually said in the case of Waking Life, it was he praised it for being original and well suited for the aims of the film, which it does. I mean, it fits the vibe perfectly, and that with Waking Life too. So they're both just very like. But besides the what you're looking at, they're very just kind of introspective movies that have very deep. The characters have very deep and meaningful conversations about life and different like deep subjects and stuff. So we talked about the rotoscoping. So another I guess filming technique that Richard Linklater likes to use is filming movies over a long period of time. So the Before trilogy, there's 3 different movies. I don't know the names of them off the top of my head, but they were each filmed 4 years apart, I want to say, or something like that, or 3 years apart. And then his probably besides I don't know, Dazed and Confused is a pretty cult following big movie. School of Rock is pretty big, but Boyhood is one that if you didn't know his older stuff, you definitely know that. So Boyhood is a 2014 American coming of age drama written and directed by Richard Linklater. It's starring Patricia Arquette. The son is I think you say his name, Alar Coltrane. The sister, the daughter, is Lorelei Linklater, who is the daughter of Richard Linklater, and then the father role is played by Ethan Hawke. So this movie was filmed from 2002 until 2013, and it depicts the childhood and adolescence of Mason Evans, played by Mr. Alar Coltrane, from the ages 6 to 18 as he grows up in Texas with divorced parents, played by Patricia Arquette and Ethan Hawke. And like I said, Richard Linklater's daughter plays his sister Samantha. And it is a man. My wife loves that movie. It is very deep, very beautiful. Just something that you don't really see. You know, there isn't a lot of directors out there like doing that kind of stuff. But I mean, I guess if you think about it, there aren't a lot of directors like making movies with a bunch of kids playing instruments. And Linklater at first with School of Rock wasn't super on board, but a buddy convinced him, I guess. Like I said on that other one, they worked out some sort of deal, and he ended up doing it, which it's kind of fun. It doesn't really fit in his I guess it fits more with Dazed and Confused and Slacker maybe, and then Waking Life and Scanner Darkly are their own thing, and then Boyhood is its other own thing. Where, you know, Jack Black movies are, there are a lot of like funny things, as an actor, and then as a director, it's cool that he's kind of all over the board. And we're talking about Richard Linklater, the director of this movie that we're talking about, School of Rock. But if you haven't seen any of his other movies, I would definitely check them out. Dazed and Confused, really cool movie about it's loosely based on him growing up and going to a high school in Huntsville, Texas. It was filmed in Austin, and it's how Matthew McConaughey really got on the scene. He really got some accolades, and he really got noticed from that one, for sure. And he's awesome in it, and it's a hilarious movie. So that's about it for School of Rock. We have a couple of other topics that we're going to talk about, but for School of Rock, man, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's one you can watch with your kids. It's one you can watch with your mom. It's if you need a little pick me up, definitely check it out. If you know Jack Black, it is definitely in his wheelhouse. But now I'm going to kind of go into the reselling like we normally do. We just talk about it a little bit because we're hitting about an hour. Don't want to have you guys hanging on the line for too long. But the resell stuff, and then some movie news. In case you guys are a fan or you've heard, or most of you probably haven't, there's so when movies come out, they come out. They're distributed by different distributors, and there's also the studios that put the movies out, and they have their own film distribution companies usually. There's also what I've briefly mentioned on here, but is these boutique labels. So one of the more common ones that you might have heard of is the Criterion Collection. That's what you would call a boutique label. Or Scream Factory, Umbrella, Arrow, any of those, Kino Lorber. Those are what they call a boutique label or a boutique company. And another one that if you haven't heard of it before, Vinegar Syndrome. They just announced today that they are closing one of their warehouses, but that's because they're opening up a even bigger warehouse. I want to say it's going to be, let me see, I actually took a little note of it that I didn't save in the correct album, but where is it at? Okay, here it is. They purchased a building. They had the Colorado one shut down. This one is going to be in Connecticut. And it's going to be a 70,000-foot warehouse for shipping, storing, and printing their own merch. And then they also are going to have, check this out, a subterranean film vault for archiving movie footage. So if you haven't checked out Vinegar Syndrome, definitely check them out. They put out a lot of crazy, crazy stuff. So they do put out new films, but a lot of it is going to be going back and archiving older films and re-releasing older films that maybe didn't get a big release, that didn't get a DVD release. A lot of them are some horror movies and some B-movie stuff. But I mean, they're doing it. They're living the dream. Their shipping will be faster now, and they will be able to house more inventory. So that's good for moviegoers out there. And like I said, that's a boutique label, the Vinegar Syndrome. If you haven't checked them out, look them up. It's not a paid advertisement for me. I wish. But the boutique labels are really awesome. And the Criterion Collection is what most people know. It's, gosh, they have thousands of movies by now, but you find a lot of them at the library. They do release newer stuff, like Wes Anderson has released a lot of his movies on Criterion Collection. But it's a lot of like older films that they are re-releasing. So that was the movie news. On top of that, I busted out... So when I'm watching the movies, I'm doing a little research, doing a little digging, and I busted out. When I was in college, I took a movie, a cinema class or whatever, and I busted out my book, film analysis. I guess is I guess what you can call it. But my book is called Looking at Movies. I busted out the college book, flipped through it a little bit, kind of reminisced, and then I picked up a lot of 4 books on eBay for just $20. One of them is the Oxford Guide to Film Studies, which is a really popular kind of go-to comprehensive look at movies. The other one I picked up is the Oxford The History of World Cinema, and that's a definitive history of cinema worldwide. Another really cool one I picked up, this one's a little bit smaller. It's not a textbook per se. Well, it kind of is, I guess. But it's called Another Fine Mess, and it's the history of film comedy. Gonna pick that up and flip through it. And then what also came with it was a little, I guess you could say, like novelette or whatever, little book about the movie They Live by John Carpenter, and I've been reading through it, and it's really cool so far. I picked up They Live recently and watched it. I found it in the Big Ben at Walmart for $5, I think, and it's cool. It's a really cool movie. John Carpenter is a great director. So movie news as far as what I got. I picked up a couple really good ones. Renee, my buddy, had a garage sale and picked up a couple of movies from him, a couple of Blu-rays from him. Let's see, out of his collection, what I had, and that I think back in the day I might have bought, and then maybe this is like the 3rd time I'm fucking buying it, but Party Down, the TV show. Hilarious. If you've never seen Party Down, look it up. It is it was on Stars, but has a crazy cast that you will definitely recognize, multiple characters. One of the dudes from The State, one of the dudes from one of the actors on My Bad Parks and Rec, and then an actress from Will and Grace, what's his name's wife, Ron Swanson's wife in real life, and then they have guest stars that are totally crazy and you wouldn't even believe. Really funny show about a catering company and all the, I guess, losers that work for them, and the parties that they do. Each episode is themed around a different party. So I got that from Renee, and then I also picked up. I got a couple. I got a kind of stack, but I just picked these out to highlight. I got that, and then Annihilation, with Natalie Portman. And then I got Ex Machina from him, which is the same director as Annihilation. I haven't seen Ex Machina. I read some of the comic. I didn't read the whole thing, but I did read the whole book of Annihilation, which is really cool. I don't know if you've seen the movie but not read the book, but I loved the book. The movie did a great job. I don't hate it. The book, though, is really cool. If you don't know, it's written by a dude, but it's in a woman's perspective. So just a fun little fact that makes it kind of interesting, and hopefully maybe you'll want to read it if you haven't, or it makes you want to watch the movie again. But yeah, that movie Annihilation was a book. I think it's a trilogy. I'm sure you can check it out from the library. I know I did. I checked out, I think, the first and second one from the library. And then I added a movie to the collection that I don't have, that I don't think I ever have owned, but I'd seen before. It's a smaller movie. It's called Primer. I want to see when this was released. Gosh, I need my magnifying glass. Why? I can never find it. I can't remember when it was released. I'll have to look it up. The movie's called Primer, though, and it's starring, written, and directed by this dude, Shane Carruth, who is a Dallas guy. And I think some of these... I think some of the movies actually filmed in Dallas too, and my brother-in-law Andrew actually knows him and knows his buddy, I guess. But it's a super trippy sci-fi kind of mystery about science and these two dudes experimenting and stuff. And I would definitely check it out. I got it for really cheap. And I can't wait to rewatch it. If you haven't heard of this movie, you might have heard of his movie called Everything Illuminated, which is another really trippy, cool movie that I need to rewatch. But that's Shane Carruth, and the movie that I got is Primer. And the other one, like I said, is... Everything's Illuminated. Shit, I gotta look this up, otherwise I'm gonna be messing you guys all up. Or it's called Color. Gosh. I guess I didn't really think about I'd be talking about him. Okay, so Primer came out in 2004. And another movie that you might have heard of from him, it's called Upstream Color. It came out almost 10 years later in 2013. And Upstream Color is it's trippy, man. It's a wild one. It's a personal narrative, but it's just deep, and the visuals and the cinematography and stuff is absolutely stunning. And if you haven't seen Upstream Color, I would check that out. And then Primer is more of a sci-fi kind of thingy. So yeah, I've been I got those. Oh, and last to add to the list, which we will talk about on the pod. Saving it for October for the Halloween. I got me a scary one. Not that scary though, and one that I watched as a kid and that stars kids, The Monster Squad. If you have not seen The Monster Squad, check it out. 1987. It's about a bunch of kids. A portal opens up and all these classic monsters come out, like Dracula and the Wolfman and Frankenstein's monster and Swamp Thing. and these kids have to like fight him and get this crystal and close the portal up or whatever. Amazing movie. And this movie, just like Hackers, it wasn't widely released, so you couldn't just go into the store and buy a copy of it. We had my buddy across the street. He had a dubbed copy, and we fucking wore that thing out. But we will talk about that one in October. For I'm gonna do some scary movies. More scary theme stuff. But we'll save that one for then. I'm gonna rewatch it here really soon because I don't even know if I've seen it on DVD. Maybe. Yeah, I'm sure we probably rented it in Austin from I Love Video when I lived down there back in the day. I know I've seen it at VHS, but it'd be great to watch this DVD. It is the 20th anniversary edition, so it would have came out in 2007. Yeah, because I'm about to be 40, so it's about to be 37. This is the 20th anniversary edition. It's got an awesome slip with some debossing, like kind of like shiny. It's got a great cover. It's not the original that's on the VHS, but it's stunning. It's awesome. It's got and then it has some special features. It's got commentary. And then it's got what I've never seen, a 5-part retrospective featuring interviews with the director, with the writer-director, and the actors. Deleted scenes, theatrical trailer, and TV spot. Those are going to be great. We'll definitely play those on the episode, but man, definitely try to get you a copy of Monster Squad or find out where it's streaming before Halloween time, and add that to your list if you're into watching scary movies around Halloween. So with the resell, or with that stuff, like I said, I collect and I resell. So with reselling, I really kicked it up. I stepped up, even though I am subbing, and school just started back while we're watching School of Rock. I'm subbing. I subbed 5th grade the other day. I'm kind of, I'm looking for jobs. I'm doing it. And then I'm also, I'm stepping up the reselling a little bit. Not only am I trying to get rid of some of this stuff, but I'm also, I need to make some money. So, I've been trying to list 10 things a day. I think today I listed 5 things and cross-post 4 of them. And then yesterday I subbed, and then the day before that I listed 10 things. So I'm really kicking it up, really stepping it up. Hopefully I can turn this stuff and make some money, and then have a little bit to put back into it. Or like I explained on the episode before, buy a stack, sell it, make some money, and then I get a couple of movies. Not only do I get paid in money, I get paid in movies. Well, I hope you guys liked tonight's episode, and I hope that if you haven't, you will go check out School of Rock and any of the other movies that we might have mentioned tonight. Anything by Richard Linklater or Jack Black, or check out that soundtrack. It was so I'm so happy to have had you guys on episode 8 of Remind Rewind. My name is Jordan Klein. I am your host every time. I was going to say, it's every night. I was going to record this episode during the day today, but doing it at night again, which is fine. Like I said, I got that new TV. I switched up my angle a little bit, sitting different, watching it, hanging out, and I'm glad that y'all hung out with me. Please, if you have a movie request, hit me up at remindrewindpod@gmail.com, or on Instagram. Find my Instagram, give me a follow, you can message me on there. I'll message you back, and we could talk movies. Maybe send me your list of your favorite stuff you picked up or stuff that you're looking to get, or if you saw any of the movies that came out this summer. I'm still trying to see Longlegs and Twisters. Definitely still trying to see Twisters in the theater. Longlegs I want to see, though, because Nicolas Cage, obviously. And I just watched a movie with one of the main characters. The movie was called It Follows. It came out, I guess, about 10 years ago. Really, really weird one. I don't watch a lot of the horror stuff, but I wanted to check it out. And the soundtrack is by the artist's name is Disaster Piece. But it's a trippy kind of like it's got some like Nintendo-y like bit tune kind of thing to it, but it's also got like a horror music kind of vibe. And the director is he was doing some really cool stuff. There'd be these super long shots where he'd kind of like look and the camera would do it through whole 360. Or yeah, it was really cool. So I'm interested to see the main chick in that in Longlegs now. But if you saw Longlegs or if you saw anything else in the theater this summer, send me a message over at the Instagram or on my email, and we can talk about it. Until then, until next time, like I said, which I said like probably 10 times in this fucking episode, my name is Jordan Klein, and this is Rewind. We will see you guys. We will catch you on the flip side.
His shenanigans are cruel and tragic. Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really. Evil shenanigans.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Hey, Farva, what's the name of that restaurant you like with all the goofy shit on the walls and the mozzarella sticks?
You mean shenanigans? No! You're talking about shenanigans, right?
Put those away!
William, move your head. Look at the size of that boy's head. Shh. I'm not kidding, it's like an orange on a toothpick.
You're gonna give the boy a complex.
Well, that's a huge noggin. It's a virtual planetoid. Has its own weather system.